engineering, where do we begin? How about everywhere?
It's the process of creating something new and doing something innovative that's literally never been done before.
I think I've always liked to solve problems.
Engineering is everywhere you look, from the phones that you have in your pocket, the fitness trackers you have on your wrist. You literally interact with engineering hundreds of times a day.
If we just think about engineering historically, like what has come about, what has engineering changed in society? We can go way back when the steam engine first came about. That ushered in the industrialization. Literally, just by this one engineer saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to use a rowboat when I'm crossing this river.
Engineering is everywhere. It's in everything that we do, even when you don't realize it.
I think it's how you use your imagination to create new and innovative ways or items for people to use every day.
It's really great to get the foundation and then use that to apply it to something that really interests you and motivates you. And that's kind of really how we got to where we are. There's always someone who learned the foundation and then took it to another level. Kind of learn and understand, and then from there, it's really up to the imagination on how that plays out.
So I'm from Vero Beach, Florida, which is just 90 minutes south of Kennedy Space Center. So I grew up watching the space shuttles go into space. And I told my mom when I was a kid, third or fourth grade, that I was going to work at NASA. I didn't care if I was going to be a janitor, but I was going to work there. And she said to me as a third grader, well, why not be the engineer? So I was like, oh. And here I am today, an engineer.
In this building is the Autonomous Vehicle Division of Ford Motor Company. This space, we focus on how to get people from point A to point B without a driver in the car.
Technical expert is someone who has demonstrated a high level of understanding of technical problems in a particular specialty area.
I get to crash our vehicles, and then once the vehicles crash, I get to reverse CSI it. For cars coming 50 miles an hour and it T-bones our vehicle, is that door going to open? So I get to take all the components away, strip away all the mangled metal, cut out our door handles and say, okay, how did this door handle perform in this accident?
I've been lucky in that I've really enjoyed everything I've done along the way. At the current moment in time in engineering, I've been able to secure 6 patents. A lot of them have to deal with various levels of aluminum technology development.
I have about 12 patents throughout the US and Europe. In the car, you have a navigation experience. You pair your Bluetooth phone to your car. You access your music through your phone, through your car. And so my patents are really around that experience. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, but it's pretty awesome to be able to see the results.
I am a problem solver.
No. You know, am I technical? Absolutely, right? But I think there's a stigma associated with geeks, and I don't consider that I fall into that stigma.
The reality of my job is innovation has to be second nature. Nothing in my role is static. The environment is always changing. What problems that we don't foresee as problems today that may creep into our subconscious and become a problem tomorrow? Innovation has to be at the core of that.
When Bluetooth first came out in the late 90s, I remember, kind of running to a few of my friends like, there's this new thing out called Bluetooth. And they all looked at me like I was crazy, like what is that? About 12 years later, I became the global Bluetooth lead at Ford, and my friends joke with me about remembering that time that came up to them talking about this new thing called Bluetooth. So yeah, I could get it. I could get why people consider, that kind of geeky.
So I get to crash vehicles, which is fun because it's destructive. The other part of it is now I get to put it back together. What's the story?
In some respects, engineering can be a little bit of a psychology, understanding human behavior and how they interact with the world, and then working with that to see how you can make lives easier, how you can make lives better. And so from there, it is a bit of a psychology. And there's always a cohort or a subset of people who that is the most fascinating thing to them, so.
Engineering is wrapped in critical thinking and problem solving, so there's no room to play. But the lifestyle engineering affords, now that's another ballgame.
Through engineering, I've been able to start my own business, so I have a side hustle as well with respect to owning property in the city of Detroit. So I have a small apartment building in a pretty up-and-coming area within the city and some houses. As an African-American owning property in the city of Detroit, especially around being a landlord in the city of Detroit, it provides me with a unique view with respect to, one, ensuring that we're involved in the conversation as it relates to property ownership, as well as making sure that it's still affordable for people to be able to stay in these up-and-coming neighborhoods.
Looks delicious.
It's nice that sometimes, we can afford to do these things by having the jobs that we have in engineering. It affords us a great lifestyle.
We work so hard.
We work so hard, we get to play harder.
It's just important that you take time for yourself because the work will always be there. We, of course, have our ups and downs. Sometimes we're really, really busy, sometimes not so much, but to be able to take that time away and have it for yourself is like very, very important.
It's provided a life that I actually really love. Yeah.
I like to tell those that I mentor that you grind now and shine later. So the sacrifices that you're making sure you get through the homework, making sure you get your work done. In the end, it's going to afford you a life where you can enjoy the various different trips and, get to enjoy brunch with your friends,
One of my favorite places to travel was Costa Rica. It's probably one of my favorite places to be. I've been to China and Japan, Europe, Germany, France. I've been in lots of places.
All right, so I want to thank you guys so much for coming out once again. It's like our fourth time doing this. Just to come together, give back, do what we do best. We all are career professionals excelling in our jobs. We all understand that community is a part of us going forward, and everything that we do must pay back into our community. And that's why we do this every quarter or every other quarter. I'm deeply grateful for having all of you guys in my life, for helping me get to where I need to be, and helping our community go where it needs to go. So with that, thank you. Okay. Fortunate enough to be in a position where I can help folks and let them feel valued, that people care for them, people understand their situation, and just give a little bit back to them. So I'm not doing it for show. I've been doing it for all this time, and I just feel good doing it. I feel good knowing that at the end of the day, I'm helping someone. I'm not getting anything out of it. It's not a tax write-off. I can't file it for a nonprofit. It's something that I'm doing genuinely out of my heart to help other people. And it'll be paid for some way, somehow, but I'm not looking for the quid pro quo of it. I'm just looking to help some people.
Engineers make things happen through innovation, creativity, curiosity, and drive. And from that drive, engineers impact the world like no other occupation because they don't sit back and watch the world go by. They make it better.
You know, engineering, we've been in it a while, and it's still a field that is underrepresented. And so what we really want them to know and understand and really would like more young people to understand that this is feasible, this is attainable, this is something that you can do, and it's not, you know, hard or out of reach.
It's not rocket science.
I mean, we are pretty smart people, and they will be too.
Indeed.
The thing is, you just got to learn what you don't know.
In my community, I can say that the primary path for a successful life was either in sports, entertainment, or public service. Nothing against those. I think those are all great things that people who have the talents to do those things should definitely pursue those things. But everyone doesn't have those talents and capabilities. We, as a community, won't really get too far if we don't think about who has to come after us.
I would say that the industry itself is getting more welcoming and understanding and more inclusive. Technology side of the development of the 2015 F-150, the joining was all done by women from a technical lead. The metal forming and the metal heat treatment, because that was the group I was in, where 2 out of the 4 people in the group were women. And so these are like the little nuances that people don't always appreciate, that how many women are actually contributing to the products that we're delivering.
From a diversity perspective, as we talked about being in Detroit, it's a predominantly African-American city, and so my experience throughout school was predominantly with other African-Americans. When I transitioned to college, that wasn't the case. In many cases, I may have been the only African-American. And in some cases at work, leveraging engineering in that experience, what I've been able to do is focus on the data and focus on my knowledge of my craft. And the ideas that I present, I ensure that they're presented in a way that aligns with the data. And so it doesn't matter that I'm the only African-American in the room.
One of the nice parts about engineering is that if you are technically sound, it's very hard to argue with that.
What other place can you design exotic metals, crash whips to make them indestructible, and create technology that will guide the future of automotive? What other field do you have the opportunity to shape and change the world as we know it right now?
The fun stuff about my job, I get to see how are we making these vehicles stronger? How are we making them safer? Find out, okay, how do we make this even better?
A lot of what I do is stamping dies, stamping presses. I love to get in and, I work with die makers and we learn how, material forms. And It's not my job to run the press, but I know how to run the press. I get to do that as well as take the data, crunch it out.
Who's gonna do that? Like the researchers that here at Ford, the scientists, the engineers, the actuarial scientists that understand the mathematical calculations to get there. Like, this is what does it.
With so many options at Ford, the potential to explore is endless. Through your ideas, imagination, and thinking, you can and will impact the world by solving complex issues that will make our lives simpler, safer, and better for the future.